I'm Michael Lee from the Nerds of Color, and I had the chance to talk to Kensington Tallman, Sumayyah Nuriddin-Green, and Grace Liu from Inside Out too. How is everyone doing?
So,
Great. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. This is such a pleasure to talk to you, all three of you. Oh my gosh, this movie. I grew up with this movie, and literally cried when I saw it. I saw the sequel. So yeah, it's just, oh my gosh. Thank you so much for talking to me, by the way.
oh my God,
I'm
thank you for
gushing. So.
yes.
So first of all, I just wanted to know what was the first Pixar film that you watched, and what does it mean to have your voice kind of immortalized in the sequel? Because this is one of the, one of the best uh best Pixar films ever. So yeah.
Oh, oh my gosh. Well, my first movie in the theater, my first movie that I ever watched and in the theater was Toy Story 3 when I was very, very young. I think I was like probably 3 years old or something. And then the second the second Pixar film I watched in the theaters was Inside Out on my sixth birthday. And I left the theaters bawling my eyes out. I think I had to leave early because I was just crying uncontrollably. But I had just moved to New York City right before my birthday, and Riley had just moved to San Francisco. And so I just like immediately felt so like just it was so relatable. I felt represented, and I felt like I could relate to Riley so much. And so she's been such a pivotal part of my childhood and just growing up.
And Grace and Sumaya, do you have any other your favorite Pixar films that you grew up watching?
I mean, I think Toy Story was like the first for a lot of people, me too. But I actually when I was really little, I had like DVD, like a whole collection, and I had this like shorts collection of like all of like these old Pixar shorts, and I remember that just used to be on like replay like all day long. I loved
Yes.
it, and yeah, I had like a DVD of like all the shorts, and I used to watch that all the time.
Yeah, I think I we also were big collector fans.
Mhm.
We were on the Disney movie membership. May she rest in peace. I love her. But we huge Blu-ray DVD release people. I feel like I watched pretty much all of them from a young
Yeah.
age. I basically grew up on animation, and so getting to do this was pretty unbelievable. Me and my brother were such huge fans of Ratatouille.
Oh yeah.
That art style is
Yes.
beautiful, and I it was so cool seeing Inside Out 2 in theaters and looking at all of like the detail on screen, all the textures and colors. It's a beautiful movie, like visually just gorgeous.
Um, s- since this is an animation movie, there's a lot of voice work going on. So I was just wondering, what are some of your best memories inside the vocal booth? And what did you guys get to actually sign the big red wall that's at Pixar Studios?
Okay, I know. So I live really close to Pixar Studio in Emeryville, and my two best memories were number one, my first time going in, just because that was such a crazy milestone for me. And then my second favorite was when we all got to meet together and record in Burbank. But I signed the red wall. It's actually really funny because Kelsey was like, "Oh, we have a surprise for you." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, but you have to wait until you're done with your session." So they took me back there after I finished recording for the day. I know. I was like 14 when this happened. I'm 17 now. Yeah. And I was so nervous. They handed me the Sharpie, and all of like the space, like I'm really short, I'm 5 feet tall, right? So all of the space like at my eye level was gone. So I stood on a chair and I had to like write it at the top of the wall. So they gave me the Sharpie and I was so nervous. I wrote it microscopic. I didn't even realize until I stepped back and you see all the signatures on the wall. And I'm like, wait, where's mine?
No.
And it's so funny because a little while after that, I want to say like the next summer, I still couldn't talk about that I was in the movie yet. We went on a field trip and I was like, oh no, like they're gonna see my name on the wall and then I'm gonna be in so much trouble. But I wrote it so small that they didn't. So it's fine. It's like a win and a lose.
I know when we were in Emeryville, I think Pat took us on a little tour of the entire facilities, and they were like, "This is the red wall. You could sign it." But no one had a pen on them. It
Oh,
never happened. I was just admiring this beautiful red wall.
We have to bring you guys back so you can sign it.
yes,
Take us
you have to
back.
sign it.
I know. I think one of my favorite memories was, like Sumaya said, getting to just record with you guys for the first time. Such a core memory for sure. And it was just so fun getting to like create that chemistry, and they are like the absolute best. I love them both. Like immediately clicked. And it was so much fun. And recording the awugas, which was
Oh
so
my
fun.
god.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
classic. I love that.
We just got to be goofy with each other instantly, and that set the friendship level to like 100.
100%.
It comes out so organically because you guys, you like you said, you have such chemistry with each other. I was just since speaking of that, I was just wondering, since the film deals with friendships and the challenges of trying to fit in and being yourself, what can you say that this film does for those who are watching it and they're on their own journey of trying to find themselves as well?
That's a great question. I I think, friendships are really important. And I think having a couple solid friends are really, really important. And knowing that you don't have to try and be perfect all the time. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel anxious. I feel anxious all the time, and that's normal. And anxiety can actually be very helpful in some
Mhm.
scenarios. It's just sometimes she can derail a little bit. But I think for everyone, going through adolescence, no one has it figured out. I know for me, I think, when I'm going through adolescence, I'm trying to be the best version of myself and trying to sorry, excuse me, I'm trying to fit in. And I think it's important to know that everyone is feeling the same. Everyone
Mhm.
is wanting to be cool, wanting to fit in, but it's important to know that we're all in this together and you're not alone in this.
So you spoke about how sometimes anxiety is you have to experience anxiety. I was just wondering, since there are different emotions, and there are some new ones addition as well, but there are different emotions at the council. So which emotions at the center of your council for all three of you?
I feel like joy and anxiety and sadness they're having a party up there. They love switching off whenever they want. But I feel like at the end of the day, joy is the one who they're all kind of supporting the most. Although I feel like I feel emotions very deeply, so sadness and anxiety are like they're all doing a big group hug there.
Okay, Sumaya.
I don't think I think my emotions have trouble sharing the console because they're all always on there like at once. I don't think they ever switch off, but I think joy, especially like just right now at the place that I am in my life, I'm really happy and I feel like a lot of joy. And obviously being a teenager, there's going to be so much anxiety, but much like in Inside Out 2, and we see like they're working together, so no complaints, joy and anxiety.
And
Same for me. Same.
okay.
It's like split right down the middle between joy and anxiety. And I
Mhm.
think what the film teaches us is that that's actually healthy. Feeling
Mhm.
anxious all the time is not healthy, and feeling joyful all the time is also not healthy. And I think, I feel like I try to look on the bright side of life, but I also allow room for myself to, have those anxious thoughts and recognize them for what they are, appreciate them, and then say, okay, anxiety, you can take a chill pill, you can drink your anxiety, and you're
Yes.
That's what I love about this movie, though. I think it shows that like no emotions are bad for you.
oh,
And
Right.
I want to say, like, honestly, Inside Out 2 was like my first introduction to kind of like that realization that our emotions are good for us and they're working for us. Oftentimes, I feel like we're taught that like sadness or anger are negative reactions, and they're not. Like, I know they show like anger keeps things fair. Like I was like, oh, I love that like ideology and that like fear is protecting us and disgust and joy.
Hmm.
And I think that's really important to show because our emotions are good for us. And I know like as a performer, sometimes like we often have like stage fright, right? But one time my director told me like in a show that I musical theater kid, she was like, if you're yes, she's like, if you're anxious or scared of something, that's a good thing because it means you care. Like think about it. If you weren't really passionate about something and you had to go on stage and you were lackadaisical about it, you didn't really care. But I was like, anxiety is a good thing, fear is a good thing, and so is sad and anger and all the other emotions because they're working for us and with us. And I love that this movie shows that because I feel like we're not taught that all the time.
It's just being human, feeling
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
full
exactly.
emotional range that you can. It's kind of living life and reacting to life.
Mhm.
Um, Kelsey Mann, the director, had mentioned that he had an advisory group of teenage girls who helped, shape Riley. So I was wondering if he asked for your guys' input because, being that he's a guy and I'm a guy, so he would uh, actually ask probably his cast for some help on shaping your characters' trajectories.
Absolutely. First of all, I love Riley's crew. And Riley's crew, for our viewers who don't know, Riley's crew was a group of teen girls from the ages of 13 to 18 who would watch the film and would break down Riley and make sure that it was staying authentic to a true teenage girl. And Kelsey Mann, our incredible director, I love Kelsey so much.
Shout out, Kelsey.
We love you.
The best. If you're watching, we love you so much. He just allowed room for creativity and collaboration, and I think that was so incredible. He allowed me to improv and add my own spin to Riley and add my own opinions about what I go through and how I experience life and anxiety and joy and all the other emotions. And I think that is just such an incredible experience, and I'm so thankful for Kelsey. And he just did such a wonderful job directing the film, and I'm so thankful that I got to work with him.
Yeah,
think
I would
something
say.
that's really oh, sorry, Sumayyah.
No, you go. Oh my gosh, no, please.
Something that we don't really get that often, or I feel like there's not a big precedent in Hollywood, is teenage girls feeling like equal creative collaborators, especially in there are a lot of power dynamics in Hollywood, but Kelsey
Mm.
went out of his way to make sure that we felt safe and comfortable and proud of the work that we were doing and that we could express ourselves authentically. And I something that's really cute is that the first time that I recorded with them, Kelsey saw my little hair clips and he was like, "Oh, Grace needs those. Immediately put those on her."
Yeah, and then the next time we came back, Grace's character had hair clips.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's like my favorite story. I remember when I first saw Grace, like she had the hair clips in. I didn't see her like in before them. So my first impression was Graceified. But yeah, I mean, Kelsey always gave us so much creative freedom, which I love, and I think that's great because obviously these characters they were created, and we all auditioned for the parts, and obviously we got them because we were a right fit for the characters. But what's really great is he kind of allowed us to grow them and expand them and
mhm.
make them, into the characters that we know and love today. But he let us bring ourselves to work every day, which was so cool and so much fun. And we always got to collaborate with each other too. Like when we were in the booth, we would be having so much fun improving. I loved our
Yeah.
improv sessions like so much. And it's cool because a lot of that made it into the film.
Well, thank you so much. These have been great answers, and I appreciate you guys so much for talking to me about this movie. It means so much to me, and I've been sharing it. I've been telling everyone to watch, and not just the emotions, but the other characters in the real world, because your characters really help ground the film. So, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much, Michael. We love what
Bye.
Nerds of Color are doing.
Oh yeah, huge
Yes, thank
fans.
you. Oh my gosh, that's a great shout out. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
The lectures, fanboys, professional artists, and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC. In full color, you see me. The hard knock